welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Rabo. I'm a Microsoft MVP and a developer. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on everything that you need to know as a beginner in GitHub, okay? And in GitHub, the first thing you need is a GitHub account. I'm going to be showing you how to create a GitHub account and also how to create a profile. Like when somebody comes to your GitHub account, they can be able to know more about you, okay? So I'm going to be showing you how to create your GitHub profile. I'm also going to be showing you how to create a GitHub repository. And maybe if you see a GitHub repository and you like it, you want to have a copy of it, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to be showing you how to create code spaces and showing you how to use GitHub Copilot. And not to forget, I'm going to be showing you the interface of GitHub so that you just to understand more of, okay, this is how GitHub is, okay? And don't be scared. This video is divided into chapters. So if there's something that you want to see, you can go directly to that chapter of the video. And if you want to watch the entire video, yes, you can watch it, okay? So don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so let's get started with creating a GitHub account. And the first thing to do is to go to your github.com. I'll be adding the link in the description of this video. So when you come to github.com, just go to the right side of your screen and click on sign up. Okay. If you just want to go directly to the link to sign up or to create your account, just go to github.com/sign up. Okay. So now on this page, we are asked to create your free account. So you need to enter your email. And for this email, you can use any type of email, either a Microsoft Outlook email, a Gmail, whatever email you have, you can use it here. If you do not have an email, you can check out my video on how to create a Microsoft account. It's just an Outlook email, okay? So I'm just going to enter my email that I created for this video. Then password, you enter your password. Okay, so I'm going to try that again. You can see it said that it's too common, it has been compromised. And let's try something. Okay, so that works, that's perfect. I'm just going to add my username. So you can add any username you like here. I'm going to go for Rachel DevTech. Then you select your country. I'm currently residing in Malta, so I'm going to select Malta. So you have the question where you are asked for an email preference, like do you want to receive occasional product updates and announcements? So that depends on you if you want to click on it or not. So for this video, I'm not going to click on it. I'm just going to directly go on continue. Okay. So to verify my account, I need to solve a puzzle. And I have two options. I can either use the visual puzzle or I can use the audio puzzle. So I'm just going to go for the visual puzzle. Then I need to make sure that this image at the right matches the image at the left. So this matches. Okay. Okay, that did not match. So let's try it again. Okay. So then for this, so I'm now asked to confirm my email address. So a code has been sent to me. So I'm just going to copy this code and paste it here. Then click on continue. So now, okay, so let's go ahead. After creating our account, let's go ahead and sign in. Okay, so this is perfect. Our GitHub account has been created. Okay, And now we can see the interface of GitHub. So this is our account. This is our GitHub account. Yeah. With our GitHub account, we want to show, like when people view our profile, we want them to see information about us. Like maybe you have some information you want to share, like maybe where you work, you want to share links, whatsoever you want to share on your profile. So if we go now to our profile, you can see that there is nothing there right now, like it's empty. Okay, we can click on edit profile. We can add some information like my name. I can add my name. I can add a bio. I can add pronouns. I can add company, my location. I can also add my email. So you can see what I can do. I can also add links, like social media links to it. But if you notice on GitHub, there are a lot of people that when you come to their profile, at the right side of the screen, you're going to see a little bit of write-ups they have in their profile. And in order to do that, you have to create a repository, a profile, a repository to show your profile. So I'm going to go to this plus sign, click on it, click on new repository. So I'm going to give this repository my name. And if you see this right up here, it said Rachel DevTech. Rachel DevTech is a special repository that you can use to add a readme.md, which is a file, to your GitHub profile. Make sure it's public and initialize it with a readme to get started. So the reason why this is going to stand as my profile is because I'm giving it the same name as my username. I'm giving the repository the same name as my username. So if I scroll down, I can either select public or private. So I'm just going to leave it at public. Public is that anybody that comes to my profile can easily see it. Okay. Then I'm going to click on add a readme file. This is where I'm going to be adding a brief summary about myself or an introduction about myself. So I'm just going to leave both of this. Then I'm going to click on create repository. So I'm just going to click on this edit icon. I just want to show you. So there's already a template here already that is showing, hi there, Rachel DevTech is a special repository because it's readme. This file appears on, you understand? So there's already something here. So I'm just going to cancel changes. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how it looks like. So I'm going to click on this icon, go to my profile. And then now you can see that hi there. You can see it now, right? So this is part of a, like, you can use it for an introduction. You can add as much information you want here, but that is how it looks like. Now you can see popular repositories, you can see your contributions, you can see your activity. So yeah, that's basically it. So to create a GitHub repository, right now that we are in our profile, you can click from this place. It does not mean you can create your GitHub repository from any place. So this particular side at the left hand side of our screen is just showing all the repositories we have. So you can create a repository from this point by clicking on this new button, or you can create it by clicking on this plus button and clicking on new repository. So if you notice something here is that you can create a repository in two ways. You can either create a new repository or you can import a repository. So if I want to create a repository, I can just have to just click on that plus, click on new repository. So I'm going to give this repository a name and just name it YouTube video. Okay. And I can write a description here. The description would help with like anybody who is going through your GitHub, like especially if your GitHub repository is public, like people can see it, people can be able to understand, okay, what this GitHub repository is all about. And it can also help your GitHub repository to be more like people will see it more, it will be more searchable, like it will have more traffic, people will be viewing your repository. Okay, so YouTube video on GitHub 101. Okay, So you have the choice to either select public or private. So if you select private, that is fine. If you create your GitHub repository by creating it in private, you can later go back and change it. Like after creating your repository, you can go back to the settings and change it to public. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at public. I'm going to add a readme file. So you have this option here, you have the add.git ignore. So you can come here and select any of this. Okay, there's also Visual Studio. So you can come here and select any of this. Then there is also a license. Okay, so you can see we have this branch as main, so we can change the main, like maybe you want to change it to master or any other thing you want to change it to, you can change it after creating the repository. So after doing everything you need, you can click on create repository, click on the create repository button. Okay, so when you click on the button, if you want to make any changes, you just go to settings, you go to settings where you have your general, just scroll down so you can see the different changes that you can make. Okay, you can, if you want to archive this repository, you just have to come to settings, archive it. If you want to change the visibility, so maybe your repository you created it as private, if you want to change it to public, you can change it. So anything that you want to change it to, you can change it from the visibility. Then if you also want to, like, there are so many changes that you have access to, then if you want to change the branch from main, you can change it from main to master. This is if you want to change it. I'm just trying to show you that, okay, this is how you can change it, and it has been changed to master. Okay, so I just have to wait a bit, and that's it. So this is how your repository looks like. Okay, perfect. And if you want to see the insights, like you want to see the traffic, you want to see how many people are viewing your, like you want to see the numbers of people that, like a dashboard, just to view the numbers of people viewing your repository, you can get it from here, like traffic. Okay. Then if you go back to code, if you click on this settings icon at the right hand side, you can change the description, you can add a link, and you can also add tags. Like for this, I can just say GitHub, give a space. Okay, so this is just the basics of you creating your GitHub repository. Okay, so when you're working with GitHub, and maybe for instance you see a GitHub repository that you want to have a local copy of, so what you do is that you go directly to that GitHub repository, you click on this particular button. I'm just going to zoom in. So you click on this fork button and you give the repository a name. You can leave it the way it was before, so you can see you can actually leave it the way it was. So you can see you can actually leave it the way it was before, or you can change the name. Okay, then you click on this. This is automatically going to create a copy for you in your GitHub account. And the next thing is, this is the GitHub interface. So at the right side of our screen, we can notice that this is showing our GitHub repository, or the GitHub repository you have. This is showing it. Then the center of our screen is just showing the people I follow, like the people you follow is showing their activities, what are they doing. So this is what it's showing. This is what this means. Then at the right side of our screen, we can just see latest changes. We can see other repositories that we can explore. So this is the interface of GitHub. And if you click on this place, you can see There is Marketplace, you have Explore, you have Copilot, Codespaces, Discussions, Projects, Pull Requests, Issues, and Home. Okay. Then for your then for if you click on this icon, this is just notification. This is notification. This is if you want to create a new repository, import a repository. If you want to create a new code space, new gist, new organization, or a new project, this is your Copilot. This is a search bar. So this is a search bar. And yeah, so that's basically it. So I will advise you that while you're learning GitHub, you should just try and explore the interface of GitHub. Okay, so GitHub Codespaces gives you the ability to work from anywhere, especially for students or anyone who do not have a laptop and they have concerns of, okay, I'm trying to learn how to code. I do not know how to go about it. GitHub Codespaces is a solution for you. And maybe you are traveling, maybe a person that's traveling, you are trying to find something that will be easy for you. So GitHub Codespace is also a good thing for you because you can use it from any of your device, whether your laptop, your iPad, your phone. So it's that amazing. Okay. And to create a GitHub Codespace, you can just directly create it from here. You can click on code, then go to Codespaces, then you create it on your branch, or you can just go to the up at the top of your screen, click on the plus sign, click on new code space. So if you click on that, you would have to select the GitHub repository you'll be using. But if I selected it directly from that code and went to code spaces, that will be fixed for that GitHub repository. But with clicking on this plus sign, I have to select the GitHub repository. Then you select your branch and you select the region and also select the machine type. Are you going to be using 2 core or 4 core? So I'm going to go for 2, then create the code space. Visual Studio Code. So you can see it. This is Visual Studio Code. So you can run your code from this place. Okay. So you can see you have your terminal, you have you can see you have this. So you can also add extensions. If you want to look for an extension, you can add extensions. So you can see if you want to add, let's say for instance, you want to add the GitHub Copilot extension, just have to click on install. So you can see that you can add different extension, and you see I can just go ahead and use GitHub Copilot directly here in the GitHub Codespaces. Like that's so cool, right? Okay, so right now I do not have access to this account, but I'm going to go directly now. So this is my own account. Let's check how that works. So this is a repository. Okay, so this is the other way you can do it. Just going to go to Codespaces, create it. So I just want to show you that yes, you can use GitHub Copilot inside of GitHub Codespaces. So we are going to go to our extension, look for GitHub Copilot. Okay, then install this. Then I'm going to sign in. Okay, so you can see with that I can use GitHub Copilot inside of GitHub Codespaces. So it's that amazing. So you have your Visual Studio Code on the go with GitHub Copilot. Yes, so it's that amazing. Okay. Okay, so for GitHub Copilot, like you have questions like, how can I use GitHub Copilot inside of GitHub? Okay, right now there is GitHub Copilot in the GitHub mobile, but when you have questions like, okay, how can I use GitHub Copilot inside GitHub web? Okay, so if you can notice something that we have here is that for GitHub Copilot, you can see I have GitHub Copilot on my home page where I have two options, assistive or immersive. So I'm just going to go directly to a GitHub repository. I want to show you something. So let's use this GitHub repository. Okay, so now you can see Copilot at this point. You can also see Copilot. When you click on code, the code button, you can see Copilot here. Okay, so let me go ahead and describe what this means. So this, when you click on this Copilot icon, for assistive, you're asking Copilot to directly help you, to directly assist you with this particular GitHub repository or this file here. Okay, so I can ask GitHub Copilot, summarize this repository. Okay, so you can see GitHub Copilot is going to go ahead and do that. So the repository, you can see. Okay, I can also ask, can you summarize the content in this readme file, readme md. Okay, so you can see it has given me a summary of this GitHub repository. So it's quite long. It has given me a summary. And apart from the assistive, you can also work with immersive. So this particular part of it just takes you directly to GitHub Copilot. So this is not affected to your GitHub repository. So yeah, you can interact with GitHub. You can ask any questions you have. You can also change it. So you can see, you can change it. You can change the model. Okay, so you can ask questions. Maybe you are learning Git, maybe you are learning JavaScript or whatsoever thing that you want to ask. You can just come to this place and ask GitHub Copilot. Okay, and one thing that you should notice too, when I was showing from the beginning of this particular part, you notice that we have Copilot when you click on code. So what this does is that when you describe a task, you have to create a workspace for it. So I can say, fix a bug, fix the bug in this repository. So I'm just asking it to complete a task for me. And this is automatically going to create a GitHub workspace. So you are going to, from that particular page, it's going to take you to a page to sign up to your GitHub workspace. And then you are going to have this interface. Okay. So you can see it's telling me the current behavior and the proposed solution. So just be aware about that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. So don't forget to like this video, ask any questions you have, and see you in my next video.